We're going to go on the record in cause number F21 75987, styled the state of Texas versus Darriynn Ronell Brown. Is that your name, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a United States citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged by indictment with the offense of capital murder. The state has filed a motion asking that I strike certain language and reduce this case to a first-degree felony of murder, which I granted. That makes your range of punishment anywhere between 5 years up to 99 years or life in prison. Do you understand the offense you're charged with and the range of punishment you now face?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you read, did your attorney explain, and did you understand everything you signed today in connection with this case, including the court's written admonishments regarding your statutory and constitutional rights and the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have an absolute right to a jury trial, which we are set for today, but it is my understanding that you want to waive and give up that right today to enter a plea of guilty. Is that in fact what you want to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you doing so, waiving your right to a jury trial, both knowingly and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may arraign your client.
Judge, we'll waive reading of the indictment and enter a plea of guilty to the lesser included offense of murder, Your Honor.
Your attorney has pled guilty on your behalf to the lesser included offense. Is that in fact your plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty and for no other reason?
Yes, Your Honor.
State.
State Upper States Exhibit 1, defendant signed written voluntary judicial confession and stipulation of evidence, and States Exhibit 2, the Michael Morton paperwork.
No objection, Your Honor.
As opposed to offering States Exhibits 1 and 2, do you want the court to take judicial notice of them?
We do.
Any objection from the defense?
No objection, Your Honor.
The court will take notice. State rest.
We rest.
Defense also rests and closed, Judge.
Do you believe your client is mentally competent?
I do, Your Honor.
And is there any reason at law that he cannot now be sentenced?
There is not. Judge, just out of abundance of caution, though, I just want to make sure I want to call him briefly just for an admonishment on the plea itself.
That is fine. Mr. Brown, if you could raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can put your hand down. Proceed when you're ready, Mr.
Thank you, Judge. Now, Darriynn, you understand that we're in trial today, right?
Yes.
And initially we had planned to go forward on the insanity defense, right?
Yes.
We really believed that we could win on the insanity defense, right?
Yes.
But after looking at some of the evidence, some of the other doctors' reports and things of that nature, you decided that you wanted to accept responsibility and plead guilty to murder. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you understand we could still go to trial, right?
Yes.
But that's not what you want to do.
That's not what I want to do.
Okay. And again, this is a decision that we talked about, and this is how you want to handle your case.
Yes.
All right. That's all I have, Judge.
Then the court will accept your plea of guilty, and I find you guilty of the first-degree felony offense of murder as included in the indictment. It is hereby the order, judgment, and decree of this court that you be taken by the Dallas County Sheriff and safely there held until your transfer to the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, where you will serve a life sentence. That sentence is imposed to begin today, but you will get credit for your back time, and the court will make an affirmative finding in this case of a deadly weapon, to it a knife. Is that the plea agreement as you understood it?
Yes.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I followed your plea agreement, you have effectively waived your right of appeal, and the court has received a copy of the trial court certification regarding your right of appeal. It bears your signature, indicating you went over it with your attorney. So that will conclude these proceedings. We are off the record, and we're prepared for victim impact at this time.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. You may be seated,
Just
Mr.
have a
Brown.
seat.
We have 3, Your Honor.
Proceed when you're ready, State.
This is from Patty Seagroves, who is currently the grandmother and custodian to the remaining twin, Carter Gernon. This message is for Darriynn Brown. We were asked to write a victim impact statement so that we, the family, could explain how what you did has affected us, how it has affected the children, Carter, Abigail, and Ashlyn, his incredibly strong siblings. First of all, I just want to say that I hope that you seek God while you're in prison, because you need Him worse than anyone I've ever known in my life. You need to truly seek forgiveness from Him, because whether or not the family forgives you doesn't matter, but God's forgiveness does. He will be the one to determine where your soul ends up. There are no words to describe the pain that you have brought onto our family. Cash's brother has suffered unimaginable pain, as we all have, a pain that no one should ever have to feel, especially at 4 years old. You have caused him, Carter, an agonizing hurt that will never go away. He longs to have his brother here to play with, to experience life with. He was very close with his twin brother. They never got to experience the first day of kindergarten together because you took Cash's life before he was ever able to even step foot in a school. Because of you, he'll never know what it's like to have a girlfriend or drive a car for the first time or graduate high school or college. He'll never get to know what it's like to get married to the girl of his dreams or have a beautiful child to carry on his legacy. Instead, all there is a memory of what a beautiful, loving, funny little boy he was. And that's something you won't ever take away. Every single day, I imagine what Cash would look like and what it would be like for his brother to have him here. We suffer from your disgusting, hateful, and horrid act of violence every single day. Again, the pain of what you did won't ever go away, and if I had it my way, you would never see the light of day again, and you would suffer the same fate that you have brought on Cash. Your mother, who you have also victimized in this, would have to feel the exact same pain that we're feeling, but I'm not the judge in all of this. I'm just an extended victim. Just know you didn't kill Cash because, while he may not be here physically, he will live in our hearts forever. He will forever live in a place that you probably won't ever get to see. And when you tell your mom that you love her at the end of your video calls, please remember that Cash won't ever get to say I love you to his mom again. The pain of losing her child has been so unbearable that she can barely function, if you even want to call it functioning. You have destroyed her. Your victim list is very long because there are so many people that love Cash. God says that his vengeance is his, and I don't think he'll be letting you get away with what you did. His punishment will be far worse than anything we can dish out to you, and I hope you hear the name Cash ring out every day in your head and it haunts you for the rest of your natural life. I hope you never get to leave prison unless it's in a body bag, and I hope you rot in there. It is with great sorrow that I stand before this honorable court today, prepared to address the monster that has single-handedly altered the course of so many lives. My name is Trevor Gernon, the father of Cash Gernon and the victim of your heinous, cowardly act. What I hope to achieve by making this statement is twofold. First, that you will recognize my son, Cash Gernon, as a person, a human being, loved, valued, innocent, and not an item to be discarded. Second, I want to brand your memory with the name of my son, Cash Gernon, so you never forget he gave his life to ensure that you will never again have the opportunity to victimize another innocent member of society. What I'm forced to do today, no parent should have to do, but you defile the sanctity of our family. And as a father, I'm obligated to advocate for my son, Cash Gernon, so I stand prepared to be his voice and zealously defend his memory. My son, Cash Gernon, was the apple of my eye. He was my legacy, the continuation of the Gernon line, which you have shattered. Your cowardly act has reduced me to a fraction of my former self, and all that remains is a hollow shell of a man fueled by the guilt of failing to protect my child. This statement is my son's defense and should be communicated, a clear message. As a father, I would have given my life defending his, and from this day forward, my life will be spent carrying his memory in a way that will impact the lives of others. Initially, I was in favor of the death penalty, but my son's death wasn't painless or humane. You made sure of that, so now I'm opposed to you having the option to leave this world without first living out the days that you stole from my son, Cash. You do not deserve the opportunity to circumvent responsibility or leave this world prematurely as my son did. I trust that the Texas Department of Criminal Justice will enforce the sentence imposed by this court and house you accordingly. There is a cage that awaits you at a maximum security prison, and that cage will function as the only home you know from this day forward. After my release, I will rest assured, knowing my tax dollars are being well spent, preventing you from ever rejoining society. I can only hope that you decide, in the name of my son Cash, to do something meaningful and productive with the remainder of your life. And then, and only then, can the atoning process begin as you await the afterlife. In conclusion, the Christian in me hopes that God will have mercy upon you, but the Father in me prays that this court shows you none. Now my son Cash can rest peacefully, knowing that his loved ones will have closure and the healing process can begin. And finally, this is a statement from Cash's grandmother, Connie. On May 15, 2021, my daughter and I received a phone call from the Dallas Police Department. They told us that they had Carter, my daughter's 4-year-old son, my grandson. They said he needed to be picked up, and I remember how hysterical my daughter was when they told her they had Carter, Cash's twin brother. But they didn't mention anything about Cash. I asked about Cash, but I received no answer. I knew deep down that something was very wrong. Moments after that, I received a notification on my phone about a child that was found dead on the street in a Dallas neighborhood, and my heart sank. My gut told me it could be Cash, and that was why the police didn't mention anything. Little did I know that was the moment our lives would never be the same. The 3-hour drive to Dallas with my daughter seemed like an eternity. I kept looking at my phone and reading about the child that was dead, wondering if it could be my grandson. I had to remain calm for my daughter because I didn't want her to know. Those were the longest 3 hours of my life. The more I read online, the more real it became that this child was our Cash. I just knew it. We arrived at the police station in Dallas and sat in a room for what seemed like hours, and nobody would talk to us. When the detective entered the room, everything became quiet, and she said the words that would change our lives forever. Cash is no longer with us. Our little boy was gone, murdered in the most horrific way unimaginable. Everything stood still for a moment, and the impact of those words started to sink in. My heart broke into a million pieces, my daughter screamed, and there was nothing I could do for her to ease that pain. Cash was 4 years old. He was just a little boy full of life who loved his twin brother and his sisters. He was happy and brought so much joy into our lives. I loved watching him play with his siblings. I can still see him running around my yard, laughing and yelling and playing on the swing set. He was so happy. You took him from us without a thought in your mind. You took him in the most horrific way possible. Why? I asked myself what your reasoning was. Our lives are forever changed, and Cash's siblings' lives are forever changed. What did this innocent child do for you to do this to him? Just thinking about the horror he went through makes me want to scream. I hate you with every part of my being. You murdered our little boy, stabbing him over and over again, and left him lying on the street like he was garbage. Cash will never have a first day of school, or graduate, or go to his high school prom, or to college. He'll never get to have children or a family of his own. You took that from him. The days after this were surreal. Planning a funeral, comforting siblings, consoling his mom, and trying to hold it all together was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. My world was shattered, and to this day I'm still suffering from the terrible loss and grief you have caused. Not only did I lose my sweet grandson Cash 4 years ago, but I also lost my daughter in the process. Her heart is broken, and she is devastated because of what you've done. Since that horrific day when you so cruelly murdered our little boy, my daughter has been lost. Unable to process the death of Cash, she's abandoned her other children. Our relationship is broken, and she's living in a world with no direction. I miss her, and her children miss her. I don't know how to help her get out of the darkness. You created this. You took a truly innocent life, destroyed my daughter, and tore our family apart. I don't know if my daughter will ever find her way back to us. I want you to suffer the way you made Cash suffer. I want you to be locked up for the rest of your life, and every time you close your eyes, I hope you see Cash's little face and his innocent eyes before you took the light out of them. I wish you nothing but misery. That's all.
That will conclude these proceedings. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.